Hi there. In Europe and across the world, the fool, the joker, used to have a very special place in society. At court, the joker was the only one allowed to make fun of the king or queen without getting his head chopped off. He could poke fun at anyone and get away with it. Why? Why would the rulers of the land allow themselves and their entourage and their lackeys to be ridiculed, mocked, humiliated? It was because it was a check on pride and self-righteousness, and that was recognised. It was a reminder that no matter how important or grand you think you are human. You will die one day, and you will probably think and say and do foolish things, and someone needs to tell you that. The fool, the joker, could puncture pomposity, could laugh at vanity, could hold a mirror up to narcissists. The fool could tell people the truths that no one else dared to tell them. He could make things uncomfortable. He gave a reality check to the rich and powerful so that they didn't forget that they too are ordinary mortals. In the play King Lear, Lear is mortified that his enemies, he thinks, have hung his fool because he knows that without him, he is lost. The fool has humour, and his humour is a form of wisdom. So the fool, the joker, is essential to a healthy culture. And sometimes the fool brings chaos to stir things up when they get stale or start to die or go bad. So it's a creative chaos, a necessary shake-up of people, of dogmas, superstitions and bad ideas and practices. They shake things up so that they don't grow stale and weak. Being the fool, playing the fool, is a serious business. We no longer have the fool or the joker among us to remind us not to take ourselves too seriously. Instead, we have a culture that takes itself so seriously it doesn't know what it is or why it is or where it's going. A culture without humour is a dying culture. We have a political class, and by that I include media and academia, that is adrift from reality and only guided by its own insane agenda of victim ideology, fake histories, propaganda, race and gender theories that have nothing to do with biology, history or reality. You could argue that our comedians took over the role of the joker, the fool, but comedy has by and large been cancelled, so our fools, our jokers are gagged. An exception might be Ricky Gervais, but he had to get to an almost unassailable position before he could really say what he likes and still command a huge following. But I would argue that there's a new kind of joker, and it's Tommy Robinson. He doesn't play the fool, he doesn't make jokes, but he does what the joker used to do, be unafraid to tell and stand by the truth. But the difference is he doesn't have the protection of the king. He's doing it on behalf of himself, his family, and all of us. And the fact that he is largely unprotected by authority makes his role as joker, as fool, even more important. And it needs to take even more courage. Tommy also attacks hypocrisy and lies and deceit. And there is comedy in that. His takedown of Panorama was in itself the ultimate trickster's joke. The BBC think they're setting him up for criticism and ridicule. They think they're more clever by half and are taking him down, whereas all the time the joke is on them because he is playing them. And not just for fun, but to expose hypocrisy. He says it like it is, whether about Pakistani grooming gangs, the threat of Islam, the abandonment of the working class, any cause that needs the truth unveiling. As in King Lear, if they could hang the fool, they would, but so far they can't, and he continues to dance and bob and weave his way through the obstacles in his path and the hatred manufactured against him. And he does this in the pursuit of truth, and that is a noble cause. It's the calling of the true calling of the joker, the true wise fool, and I hope the rally in London is a great success. Nigel Farage has something of the joker in him, which is almost unheard of in British politics today. But it's a shame that there isn't a shared platform that can include both Farage and Robinson. We are in a culture that cannot laugh at itself, and cultures that cannot laugh at themselves are well on the way to either dying or being totalitarian. People have to laugh at themselves, otherwise they putrefy, they become unreal, they become inhuman. God knows there's more than enough in our world that is so ridiculous that it deserves the Joker's laughter of contempt. Things like multiple pronouns, men pretending to be women so they can win a race, thinking that the leaders of Black Lives Matter care a hoot about any lives. Someone who has never been a slave wanting reparation from someone who's never owned a slave. Having 7 vaccinations and a few boosters and still getting the disease they were meant to prevent. People identifying as animals, the ludicrous full burqa. Having a leader of the free world who has forgotten how to tie his shoelaces. Thinking that celebrities are endowed with political wisdom. Thinking that a paedophile, anti-Semitic, illiterate prophet like Muhammad is the perfect man who can never be criticised. And the BBC thinking it still does investigative journalism. The list goes on. And all of these things should be a constant circus of laughter and not something to tiptoe around. We need more jokers, more tricksters, more celebrations of chaotic laughter that will blow the crap into oblivion. We, each of us, need to reclaim the mantle of the Joker in our own lives, sniffing out all that is ridiculous, dangerous, and just plain boring, and laugh at it all until it vaporizes. Because the opposite of humour is not seriousness, it's tyranny and death. If you like this video, do please share and subscribe, and I put links to other videos and books below. Thank you.